Visualize a nation where every corner exudes expression, every meal carries centuries of tradition, and every view seems plucked from a painting. This place exists, and it is called France. More than just a tourist destination, France is a call to perceive, explore, and be moved. But beware. The more you learn about this nation, the harder it becomes to resist the urge to pack your bags immediately. Located at the heart of Europe, France is the most visited country on the planet, attracting over 80 million travelers annually. But the question is, why are so many people drawn to this land? The answer is not simple. One must explore its stories, cities, landscapes, and customs to truly understand the charm France exerts over everyone. Paris, the capital, is known as the City of Light, a title that transcends the illuminations of the Eiffel Tower at night. Paris has become a universal symbol of knowledge, style, cuisine, and affection. It is where figures like Monet, Victor Hugo, and Coco Chanel conquered the world, turning the city into a beacon of inspiration. Yet, it would be wrong to think that France is just Paris. The country hides treasures in every province. To the north, Normandy preserves dramatic cliffs and the pulsating memory of D-Day, when its beaches witnessed one of the most crucial moments of World War II. To the south, Provence captivates with lavender fields that paint the horizon purple, and a Mediterranean climate that inspired artists like Van Gogh. France is indeed a mosaic of heritage within a single domain. The French language, regarded as one of the most graceful and affectionate in the world, is spoken not only in France but in dozens of other nations. This demonstrates the cultural and historical impact of the country, which once was the center of empires, revolutions, and upheavals that changed the course of humanity. The French Revolution, for instance, not only transformed the nation but resonated globally with the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Speaking of knowledge, one cannot ignore French cinema. Even before Hollywood existed, the Lumiere brothers were inventing the cinematograph in Lyon. To this day, the country maintains a respected film heritage, with events like Cannes setting global trends. In France, cinema is treated as a legacy, not merely as entertainment. And what about cuisine? Perhaps no nation is so tied to haute cuisine as France. Cheeses, wines, croissants, macarons, and refined dishes like coq au vin are just the tip of the iceberg of a heritage that elevated gastronomy to an art form. Eating in France is not just nourishment, it is entering a ritual of delight and distinction. But not everything is grandeur. France is also defined by contrasts and contemporary challenges, such as migration, cultural diversity, and the balance between tradition and creativity. These elements make the country a true social and cultural laboratory that intrigues scholars and captivates explorers. With each visit, France reveals new layers of its essence. One of the country's main icons is the Eiffel Tower, erected in 1889 for the Universal Exposition. Interestingly, many French people initially despised it, labeling it an iron monstrosity. Today, imagining Paris without it is unthinkable. This detail reminds us that beauty often emerges from what is distinct and daring. France is not merely a place, it is an experience. Those who set foot here feel they are entering a living narrative where past, present, and future intersect. And this is just the beginning of our journey through this captivating nation. Prepare yourself, because what comes next will amaze you even more. Now that you've begun immersing yourself in the magic of France, I have a small request. If you are eager to explore this extraordinary nation, comment the word Paris below. When I see your comment, I leave a little heart because I know you will be the first in your family to stroll the Parisian streets and capture an image in front of the Eiffel Tower. So comment now and let's continue our journey. When thinking of France, it's impossible not to imagine the majestic castles of the Loire Valley. There are over 300 fortresses that seem lifted from fantastical stories, each carrying tales of kings, queens, and intrigues that shaped Europe. Walking through these halls is like traveling through time, sensing the grandeur and mysteries of French royalty. But France's historical power isn't limited to the interior. Provinces like Alsace offer a captivating blend of heritage, with villages that look like film sets featuring colorful houses and flowers and windows that create an enchanting atmosphere. This is the kind of territory that shows how France goes beyond the obvious, hiding discoveries for those willing to explore. Another notable region is Brittany, marked by legends of knights and rough seas. Tales of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table originate there. Brittany also boasts its own cuisine, with crepes and ciders that delight even the most discerning palates. This mix of myths and flavors turns the journey into a memorable experience. Speaking of legends, Mont Saint-Michel is one of France's most iconic sites. An abbey built atop a modest islet, surrounded by the ocean that advances and retreats with the tide. From afar it looks like a fantasy painting, but as you approach, you sense the spiritual and historical strength surrounding the site. It's the kind of view that sparks imagination and evokes unique feelings. And how can we omit the French Riviera? Cities like Nice, Cannes, and Monaco provide a striking contrast to historic France. Here, luxury, idyllic beaches, and massive yachts share space with film festivals and international events. It is a reminder that France knows how to be refined and glamorous like few nations on earth. The island of Corsica also deserves attention. Napoleon Bonaparte's birthplace, the island combines rugged mountains with clear water beaches. It's less frequented by tourists, but preserves rare authenticity, ideal for those wanting to discover a more serene and natural side of France. And speaking of Napoleon, it's impossible not to highlight how France has been the stage for leaders who changed history. From absolute monarchs to rebels and emperors, every chapter left deep marks on the country and the world. This rich history is evident in museums, monuments, and even street names honoring influential figures. Another captivating aspect of France is its engagement with artistic expression. We're not just talking about museums like the Louvre, home to the Mona Lisa, but also expressive movements that emerged here, such as Impressionism. Monet, Renoir, and Cézanne not only painted canvases but shaped new ways of seeing the world. France is undoubtedly the birthplace of expressive sensitivity. With such cultural, natural, and historical abundance, France awakens an irresistible desire to explore every detail. But believe me, we've only just begun to touch the true essence of the country. That's exactly what you'll discover next, as we dive deeper into the habits and mysteries that make France a unique land. Before continuing our journey through France, I want to extend a very special invitation. Subscribe to the channel right now. This way, you won't miss any of the upcoming videos and will always be exploring alongside me to the most astonishing spots in the world. Click subscribe because our next destination after France will be even more breathtaking. Speaking of discoveries, few things are as captivating as life in France's modest villages. Far from the hustle of Paris, there are areas where time seems to slow, and every detail tells a story. Cobblestone streets, open-air markets, and friendly locals welcoming visitors with a smile. This simplicity is part of France's magic. An example is the villages in Alsace, such as Colmar and Eguisheim. With their half-timbered houses and canals reminiscent of Venice, they seem lifted from a fantastical tale. Strolling there is to immerse yourself in serenity and charm, where every corner hides a new visual treasure. Another hidden gem lies in the French Alps. Towering peaks, world-renowned ski resorts, and breathtaking views. Chamonix, for example, is a marvel where people from around the world come to ski, or simply admire the majestic Mont Blanc, the highest peak in Western Europe. But don't assume the Alps are only for winter. In summer, they transform into emerald landscapes, perfect for hiking, cycling tours, and direct interaction with nature. The variety of French landscapes is astounding. Within a few hours, you can go from sun-warmed coasts to snow-capped summits. And speaking of variety, southwestern France preserves one of the country's greatest gastronomic treasures. Bordeaux is renowned for its wines, considered some of the finest in the world. The region blends centuries-old vineyards with a vibrant heritage, where every glass of wine tells a story of tradition and refinement. But Bordeaux isn't the only standout. Lyon, recognized as France's gastronomic capital, is where cuisine reaches new flavors and combinations. There it's possible to taste dishes that merge tradition and creativity, revealing why French cuisine is a UNESCO-recognized cultural treasure. Speaking of heritage, France is home to over 40 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. From the prehistoric caves of Lascaux to the medieval squares of Carcassonne, each site preserves a fragment of humanity's memory. It's as if the country were one vast outdoor museum. And French charm doesn't end there. Even in bustling modern cities like Marseille and Lille, you can witness the fusion of tradition and modernity. These urban centers exude creativity while maintaining the essence of French heritage. This balance is what makes the country so unique. Exploring France is like opening a book with endless chapters, where every page brings new emotions, tastes, and discoveries. And if you think you've seen it all, just wait for the next segment, where we will dive even deeper into the French essence and reveal secrets few travelers know. Before proceeding, I have a small request. Give this video a like. This helps the channel grow immensely and motivates me to bring more content about captivating places like France. So hit the like button and let's continue our expedition together. One of France's most prominent features is the strength of its traditions. Each region has its customs, festivals, and dialects, creating an incredibly rich cultural essence. In Brittany, for example, Celtic music still resonates in local celebrations. In the south, in Occitania, ancient languages and customs persist, showing how diverse and varied the country is. Another fascinating aspect is France's museums. The Louvre is just the tip of the iceberg. Museums such as the Musée d'Orsay, devoted to Impressionism, and the Centre Pompidou, focused on modern expression, make Paris a true global cultural hub. Outside the capital, there are also gems like the Lyon Museum of Art and History and the Lille Fine Arts Museum. But don't think France lives only in the past. The country is also a force in creativity. Industries of science, fashion, and design make France one of the most influential economies in the world. This ability to merge tradition with modernity explains why France continues to set standards in so many fields. And speaking of fashion, it's impossible not to mention Paris as the global capital of runways. Brands like Chanel, Dior, and Louis Vuitton originated there, setting trends worldwide. Paris Fashion Week is eagerly awaited each year, demonstrating how French style goes beyond clothing. It is a form of cultural expression. France is also the stage for sports events that shape the global calendar. The Tour de France, for example, is one of the most prestigious cycling competitions in the world, attracting participants and fans from every corner. The country has also hosted multiple World Cups and Olympic Games, reinforcing its global importance in sports. Another notable aspect is spirituality. Notre-Dame Cathedral in Paris is one of the most visited landmarks in the country, even after the fire that shook the world in 2019. The Sacré-Cœur Basilica in Montmartre and Chartres Cathedral also display the strength of Gothic construction and French religiosity. But Christianity isn't the only force shaping the country. France is also defined by cultural diversity, brought by migrants from across the globe. This has transformed cuisine, music, and even daily life, creating a vibrant fusion that makes the country a mirror of globalization. In the realm of scholarship, France has always been a standard-bearer. From Pasteur and his revolutionary discoveries in microbiology to current advances in medicine and science, the country has consistently contributed to humanity's progress. This intellectual heritage reinforces France's image as a birthplace not only of culture, but of knowledge. With so much variety and abundance, France continues to be a nation that captivates, teaches, and inspires. And believe me, we still have much to explore together. In the next segment, we'll dive into even more intriguing and lesser-known aspects of French life, uncovering stories that will capture your attention until the very end. When discussing France, one cannot omit its impact on literature. Scholars like Victor Hugo, author of Les Misérables, and Alexandre Dumas, creator of The Three Musketeers, not only influenced generations but also helped shape the cultural essence of the country. Reading these classics is like wandering through Parisian streets and French fortresses through words. Another giant of French literature is Marcel Proust, whose monumental work In Search of Lost Time revolutionized the way memory and time are approached in writing. This narrative depth reflects the French spirit, reflective, analytical, and eager to explore life's complexities. Beyond literature, theater, and philosophy also play central roles. Figures like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Sartre made France a universal intellectual hub. Their ideas impacted revolutions, political debates, and social movements that still resonate today. Understanding modern society is impossible without appreciating French thought. But France isn't just intellect. The country is full of emotion when it comes to festivals and celebrations. Bastille Day on July 14th is the main national holiday, featuring military parades along the Champs-Élysées and fireworks illuminating the Eiffel Tower. It's a day when all of France celebrates its independence and essence. Another major event is the Cannes Film Festival, which goes beyond cinema. It symbolizes glamour, knowledge, and the gathering of creators from around the world. For several days, the modest Riviera town becomes the center of global attention, showing how France can turn any event into a spectacle. Speaking of performances, France is home to famous cabaret troupes, such as the Moulin Rouge, which still pulses with the energy of Parisian cabaret. Watching a show there is like stepping into a time capsule where choreography, music, and vitality merge into a memorable experience. In music, France also has a unique signature. From classical composers like Debussy and Ravel, to contemporary artists like Edith Piaf and Daft Punk, the country demonstrates remarkable versatility. Each era produced sounds that shaped not only France but the world. And of course, French as a language cannot be overlooked as a conduit of expression and seduction. French is regarded by many as the most affectionate language in the world. Hearing someone recite a verse or sing in French evokes deep emotions and creates connections that transcend words. Yet perhaps the true enigma of France lies in its ability to captivate through both the grand and the humble. Whether in a historic monument or a small neighborhood bakery, there is always something that stirs the senses. It is this combination of details that makes the French experience unforgettable. In the next segment, we will explore even more mysteries and peculiarities of France, including facts that most travelers do not know, which are sure to amaze you. Get ready because this journey still has much to reveal. A fascinating detail about France is the sheer number of quirks that surprise even the most seasoned explorers. Did you know that the country is the world's largest wine producer? Over 7 billion bottles are produced annually from renowned regions like Bordeaux, Burgundy, and Champagne. It's no wonder that to toast with a fine French wine feels almost like a ritual. Another peculiarity is that France has the greatest number of time zones in the world. This is because the country has overseas territories scattered across the globe, such as French Guiana in South America, Réunion Island in the Indian Ocean, and French Polynesia in the Pacific. In other words, France extends far beyond Europe. And speaking of these territories, they give France an astonishing natural diversity. While in continental Europe you find lavender fields and snow-capped mountains, in the overseas territories there are tropical forests, active volcanoes, and idyllic beaches. Exploring France is like discovering multiple worlds at once. Another little-known fact: Paris has over 1,500 bakeries across the city. It's no surprise that the croissant and baguette have become universal symbols of French cuisine. The habit of buying fresh bread daily shows how much the French value the joy of good food. Speaking of tradition, there's a law in France that protects the value of the baguette. Yes, the government regulates the price of the country's most famous bread, ensuring it remains accessible to everyone. This is a clear example of how even the smallest details are part of the national essence. Another intriguing aspect is Parisian cafes. Many were frequented by scholars, writers, and artists who shaped culture. Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir, for instance, often gathered in Montparnasse cafes to debate philosophical ideas that influenced generations. Sitting in one of these places is like sharing in the same inventive energy. France is also famous for its innovations. The cinematograph was invented here by the Lumière brothers. The hot air balloon was created by the French, and even the modern postal code system was inspired by a French arrangement. These details demonstrate how France has always been at the forefront of creativity, and one cannot overlook France's connection with romance. Paris is considered the most romantic city in the world, attracting couples from every corner. The Pont des Arts, famous for its love locks, is just one example of how romance is woven even into urban spaces. But France is not all splendor. The country also faces contemporary challenges, such as preserving its cultural identity amidst globalization. This tension between tradition and modernity makes France even more captivating, as every journey reveals new facets of the nation. All of this makes France an inexhaustible place, full of stories, quirks, and emotions. In the next segment, We will dive even deeper, exploring aspects of French life that make this nation so unique and admired worldwide. Daily life in France is full of details that captivate any visitor. From modest corner bakeries to charming cafes and historic squares, every routine reflects an appreciation for quality of life and delight in the small things. It is a heritage, teaches one to savor, enjoy the moment. Another captivating detail is the French market. In both cities and villages, weekly fairs are hubs of social and cultural interaction. There, you find fresh produce, artisanal cheeses, fruits, vegetables, and breads that seem like works of art. It's impossible to resist a Sunday morning exploring these markets. France is also known for its love of urban expression. In cities like Paris, Lyon, and Marseille, murals and graffiti blend with historic buildings, showing that tradition and modernity can coexist in a balanced and inspiring way. Every street has a story to tell. Devotion to sports is another prominent aspect. Football, rugby, and cycling are celebrated nationally. The Tour de France is one of the most anticipated events of the year, gathering competitors and spectators from all over the world, turning landscapes into stages of competition and excitement. Transportation in France is another highlight. High-speed trains connect distant cities in just a few hours, making the country highly accessible. Traveling from Paris to Lyon or Marseille is fast, comfortable, and offers breathtaking views along the way, turning every journey into an experience. French style and lifestyle are evident in daily life. Parisians and residents of other cities know how to balance elegance and practicality, demonstrating that dressing well is more than appearance. It's personal and cultural expression. This sense of poise inspires visitors and influences global trends. Another intriguing aspect is the French approach to education and heritage. Libraries, museums, and theaters are cherished, and access to knowledge is encouraged from an early age. This produces informed, analytical, and engaged citizens, able to appreciate the country's rich past and present. Cuisine goes far beyond luxury. Eating in France is also a social and family affair. Lunches and dinners are moments of connection, where recipes passed down through generations transform every meal into a celebration of life and local heritage. And one cannot omit music. From French opera to contemporary pop, France has a musical variety that reflects its history and inventive spirit. Musical events occur year-round, attracting artists and visitors eager to connect with local culture. If you've been captivated by all these details of French daily life, get ready. In the final segment, we will conclude this expedition, ask for your likes and opinions, and leave a heartfelt teaser for the next video. We've reached the end of our expedition through France, but before parting, let's reflect on everything this nation offers: history, heritage, cuisine, breathtaking landscapes, and a daily life that captivates and inspires. Every detail reveals a passionate, intense culture full of mysteries to uncover. France is a land of striking contrasts: medieval fortresses and progressive cities, Mediterranean beaches and alpine peaks, ancient traditions and constant creativity. Every corner of the country tells a unique story, capable of capturing the attention of any curious explorer. Paris, Lyon, Marseille, Bordeaux, Nice, and many other cities showcase the country's cultural diversity. Each region has its own essence, yet all share the same spirit: the pursuit of beauty, flavor, and the emotions that transform the French experience into something unique. Expression and heritage are everywhere. From world-renowned museums to modest local galleries, France inspires creativity. Every artwork, street, and monument carries centuries of stories interwoven with the lives of the French people. French cuisine is celebrated worldwide, but it shows its true strength in daily life. Eating in France is a ritual, a way to inhabit heritage, connect with tradition, and savor every moment of existence. This is what makes the French experience so memorable. If you've enjoyed our journey, give this video a like now. Your support helps the channel grow and allows more people to explore France and other amazing places. It's quick, simple, and makes a big difference. And if you've watched until this point, comment the phrase, "I stayed until the end." When I see your comment, I'll leave a little heart, because I know you'll explore France soon and experience every detail of this unique journey. Get ready, because in the next video we will uncover another captivating country, full of quirks, stories, and landscapes that will leave you amazed. Until then, keep your curiosity alive and continue exploring with us.